We have multiple New York Jets updates surrounding Mike Vrabel as he recently got an interview with the New York Jets to become their next head coach, which would be a massive shift away from Jeff Ulbrich and Robert Saleh's coaching style, and this could have huge implications on the Jets and really help this team in a multitude of ways, and we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris here, and if you guys like the content, make sure to subscribe. 19% of people watching this are subscribed right now. Let's get those numbers up. Let's get to 2,000 subscribers. Let's do it. But also, we're here to talk about football, so let's jump right in. Mike Vrabel got a head coaching interview with the New York Jets, the first team for the top head coach candidate this time around, or most likely the top head coach candidate with Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson in this head coaching carousel right now. And we're going to see what happens. We know Vrabel is going to get a head coaching job. It's probably not going to be with Ohio State at this point, as they're probably going to keep doing their thing, meaning that Vrabel will be an NFL head coach next season after taking a year off after being fired from the Titans, almost at the Browns, from being fired from the Titans. Meanwhile, working as a consultant for the Browns. However, that position ended on Monday, meaning Vrabel can now take head coaching interviews, and the first one he took was with the New York Jets. Now, this comes from multiple sources, and Rich Cimini broke down that the Jets are interviewing former Tennessee Titans coach Mike Vrabel on Friday at their facility for the team's head coaching vacancy. A source confirmed to ESPN. Now, Vrabel, who's 49 years old, is expected to be one of the most coveted candidates in this year's hiring cycle. He's available this week because his coaching and personnel consulting contract ended with the Cleveland Browns on Monday. And it's also important to note that Vrabel, who was fired from the Titans on January 9th of 2024, so nearly exactly a year ago, after 6 seasons with the team, he compiled a 54-45 record, making 3 postseason appearances and going 2-3 in the playoffs, which is not terrible at all. He was 13-21 in his final 2 seasons in Tennessee, and his firing came a year after the Titans changed general managers, hiring Rand Carthen. Now, here's the interesting thing. The Jets have interviewed 4 guys for their GM position. Thomas Dimitroff, who worked for the Falcons for a while, John Robinson, Jim Nagy, and Luis Reddick. Now, we're going to talk about everyone, not in this video, but the reason I threw this in is because John Robinson was the GM for the majority of the time that Mike Vrabel was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. The New York Jets are interested in John Robinson, and there's a world that if the Jets do end up hiring John Robinson, Vrabel will be much more interested in taking the New York Jets head coaching position, as he knows the guy who he'll be answering to. Now, given Robinson will be answering to Woody Johnson, and Woody Johnson is obviously a completely insane person, so it does lead to you being a little bit worried about, okay, is Woody going to go off the rails again as per usual? And the answer is most likely, but it's not a guarantee that that's going to happen, so we could dream that he won't. But look, Woody Johnson obviously is the guy really conducting these interviews. It's not just him there, but there is no GM. There is no head coach, obviously. So Woody Johnson's running the show right now with the 33rd team being the executives who are helping in Mike Tannenbaum, so the former Jets GM who Woody's friends with. So obviously the New York Jets are not done, and they're going to be extensive with doing this. The 33rd team has been fairly successful in the past, obviously with the Washington Commanders. And Woody Johnson, it seems like he does want the Jets to win. His problem is that he gets too involved and that he's absolutely nuts, and so are his kids. So it just makes things really, really difficult. All right, well, his kids are not nuts. They're just teenagers. And, well, no offense to Woody Johnson's kids, because I actually have taken back the fact that I shouldn't make fun of teenagers, because I mean, I'm in my 20s. That's not cool. Dude, like, they're teenagers. What do you expect them to be smart? I've never met a smart teenager in my life. They're all weird and annoying. Every single teenager ever is weird and annoying. If you're watching this and you're a teenager, guess what? You're weird and annoying. I'm sorry. You won't be in a few years. It just takes time. Unless you're, like, in your 30s, then you find people who are my age weird and annoying as well. They're just young. They shouldn't be making decisions. But look, the New York Jets obviously have a ton of decisions to make, and the New York Post highlighted that Vrabel is a candidate for every opening in the NFL. The interview taken with the Jets is the first one he's known to have taken, and the Jets, Saints, and Bears currently have openings, and there probably will be more once the season closes out, especially once the regular season closes out. There's still a week left somehow. Vrabel has also been linked to the Raiders if they decide to move on from Antonio Pierce. Tom Brady, who's Vrabel's former teammate with the Patriots, is a minority owner in Las Vegas. There has been speculation that New England may hire Mike Vrabel if they fire Gerard Mayo after one season. Now, it feels sort of unlikely in a way that the Patriots might fire Gerard Mayo, except it doesn't because he hasn't been a good coach, and also Patriots fans are calling for Gerard Mayo to get fired. I mean, right here you see Savage, who's a pretty big Boston sports tweeter, mentions that there's a tremendous amount of mutual interest between Bob Kraft and Mike Vrabel, and Kraft just has to pull the trigger. Obviously, Vrabel would be partial to accepting that job, as the Patriots are a rebuilding team. And there's another reason why, coming straight from Vrabel, that we will get into later in this video, why the Patriots would make some sense outside of the fact that he played 8 years there. Now, also, it's mentioned by other Patriots fans around that if Ben Johnson or Mike Vrabel want the Patriots head coaching job, but Kraft sticks with Gerard Mayo, I may never forgive him. And even if Gerard Mayo wasn't having an absolutely horrendous year in every aspect of being a head coach, there's way too many great options that want to go to the Patriots, which is absolutely true. The Patriots are a high-class organization, whether they're winning or losing. You just can't pass on Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson and hope Mayo figures it out. And these fans are right. Obviously, either one of those guys would be way better head coaches. But also, if they give Mayo another year to test it out, there's going to be other head coaches next time around that's also going to be good. And I hope the Patriots do give Mayo another year to test it out, because I don't think Gerard Mayo is a good coach at all. And it's funnier when the Patriots are bad. Obviously, the Jets are not good either. So, pot, kettle, that whole saying. But at the same time, it's just funny to laugh at the Patriots when they're not good, because they're always good. So it feels good for them to be at the bottom with us. It's like that James Franco meme where he's got the noose around his neck and he's just like, first time? So I would find it interesting to watch the Patriots miss out on those guys, but I do think they will fire Gerard Mayo, if I'm being honest. It feels weird to fire a guy after 1 year, but when you're not good at your job, the Patriots are pretty quick to fire you. Now, as I said, we're going to get into why the Patriots would make some sense. Well, not exactly breaking down the Patriots, but Mike Vrabel mentioned that there's got to be clear communication with ownership so that we understand as coaches what the expectations are. That's so we can explain to them what's reasonable, what we can do, what we could probably do, and what we're going to try to do or die trying. I want to have a structure in place that people see the game the same way I do from an X's and O's standpoint, from a personnel standpoint, with team building. We would hopefully have that alignment, which is critical, and I would like to be able to say that there's a quarterback that you feel like you can win with, or that there is a path to finding one you can win with. Well, obviously, it's not great news for the Jets. Not great that he wants clear communication with ownership or anything, considering who owns the Jets. And, well, the Jets make a bunch of weird decisions that make no sense because Woody Johnson apparently bases things off Madden and lets 16-year-olds make decisions. So there's that. I don't know how much Mike Vrabel would love that. But Mike Vrabel still took the interview, even though Bill Belichick probably could have stopped him from doing that. So maybe Vrabel's like, hey, maybe I could be the guy. But also, then maybe another team will interview Vrabel for a head coaching job, which they will, and he'll be like, oh, thank God, I don't have to take that Jets job. Oh, my God. That's a relief. There's also that world. There is. Let's be honest. The Jets don't get the pick of the litter with the head coaches because Woody Johnson's a nut. I wonder if Woody Johnson's kids are watching this. Probably not. We don't have enough subscribers where I think they'll tune into that, especially when I've, in this video, made fun of their dad and them. I don't know where Brick got the hand grenade, but still, I hope he gets that joke. And I don't think he wants to be compared to Steve Carell from Anchorman, though. For anyone who's seen Anchorman, you'd know why. But that's as far as we're going to get into that. Look, Mike Vrabel would be an excellent head coach for the New York Jets for a multitude of reasons. I think he fits with the Jets very well. I think he would absolutely do a lot of good things with the New York Jets. The Jets have a very talented roster. They're just not a team. That's been the saying all year long, and that's the case. I do think Mike Vrabel would be able to change that around, and I don't think it would take him very long to do so. He's a very good coach, and Zach Rosenblatt mentions of The Athletic that the Jets are getting the first interview with Vrabel. It's notable and a smart move for them. Vrabel is expected to be their top target, and they should have some appealing things to offer. A solid offensive line, offensive weapons in Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, not to mention Braylon Allen, a target across their defense, or talents across their defense. Wow, I can't read. But also some negatives like an uncertain future at quarterback with Aaron Rodgers and the reputation of Woody Johnson, who likes to meddle. Now, the Jets do have some young talent, which is exciting, and as long as they keep it around, which they might, or they will, outside of maybe Garrett Wilson, who might want to leave, but There's also the fact that Vrabel could build culture very quickly here. As Rosenblatt mentioned, there is not a better candidate suited for the Jets than Vrabel. Vrabel's Titans teams are always known for a few things: attention to detail, discipline, and toughness. In any given week, they might have been outmatched talent-wise, but Vrabel and them always had them competitive. He was an expert at game management situations that the Jets have struggled at all season long. Bigger than any of those attributes, though, Vrabel's the kind of coach that will build a culture and actually have accountability. An issue with Saleh and Ulbrich is that they did not do that, and Vrabel used to camp out by the training room before dawn to make sure all of his players showed up for treatment on time. He'd call out stars in front of the entire team if necessary. Just things that we know the New York Jets were not doing with their players. We know that was not the case with the Jets, and we know that Mike Vrabel would do that for the New York Jets. Vrabel would be the guy to hold them all accountable. He would build a culture very quickly, and it would turn the Jets around. They have young players who are just itching to have that culture and feel like they're in a winning environment. Vrabel will do that. Those Titan teams were very bend, don't break teams. The Jets were break, don't bend. Like, they would never just... It never felt like they were having these dynamic moments of holding teams at the line and forcing big field goals. It felt like they were being forced into stupid field goals. It felt like the Jets were sleepwalking half the time. Mike Vrabel is willing to call out any of the stars. I mean, you see Garrett Wilson calling out Aaron Rodgers, not like to the media or anything, but like he goes up to Aaron Rodgers and argues with him. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest players in NFL history. Garrett Wilson's been in the NFL for 3 seasons now, and he's not afraid to do it. Garrett Wilson, the New York Jets franchise player, would absolutely love Mike Vrabel as the head coach, and because of that, the New York Jets should do whatever it takes to try to bring in Mike Vrabel. I don't think they'll get Ben Johnson. I think there's a hope for Vrabel. I don't know if it's likely, but I do think it's hopeful, but I do want to hear from you guys, so let me know down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Jets.